A new documentary series is coming out soon about the big purple dinosaur. That's right, Barney. Apparently, there's a darker side to his story that a lot of people don't know about. I'm going to take a look at the trailer for the series and then see if it's even worth our time. So there's an upcoming series that highlights the darker side of the creation of Barney, but also the backlash to the message of the show. This is something that I am not super familiar with. I didn't know that there was a darker side to the show, a darker side to how people responded to it after growing up watching it. So this is all kind of new to me. If this is new to you, I'm glad that you're here to watch this with me. But let's take a look at the trailer for the show. The documentary series is called I Love You, You Hate Me. Great title, great play on words with the famous song from the show. But let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer, and then I'll break down an article for you with some more insight.
It just exploded nationwide.
It was a cultural phenomenon.
What color is happier than purple? No color.
This is Barney, and this is what he sounded like.
Barney stands for inclusion, acceptance.
Yo, I have that. I had that stuffed animal as a kid. That's wow, flashback.
We all have Cheryl Leach to thank for that.
As her beloved character was heading into the stratosphere, people couldn't accept that this was just a show, and so let the bashing begin.
Some of the rumors that I heard, Barney hides drugs in his tail.
They were violent and explicit.
Death and dismemberment of my family.
I love you, Barney.
They were going to come and find me, and they were going to kill me.
Just the dark side.
Who was gonna kill Barney? Who wanted this man dead? Somebody was gonna go kill the man behind Barney. That's I've never heard of this before. This is wild.
Of this whole moment. That must have devastated Cheryl.
There was something larger going on here.
I don't think you could ever think somebody would go and shoot someone.
Who got shot? Who got shot? That's what I want to know. Okay, so that's the first time I've seen that trailer. That was very interesting. Now, let's take a look at this article by IndieWire. Gave you a little bit more perspective, a little more insight on the behind the scenes of the story, and also kind of give you some perspective from the executive producer behind the show. So this is from an article by IndieWire. Hit children's series Barney and Friends promoted loving each other despite differences. But new Peacock docuseries I Love You, You Hate Me chronicles the rising backlash to Barney's message. The two-part limited series premieres October 12th and features a deep dive into the rise and fall of Barney the dinosaur's furious backlash and what it says about the human need to hate. So I really hope I'm not the only one to say that I had no idea there was backlash involved with Barney. I watched the show growing up as a little kid, and I loved it. Like I said, I had the stuffed animal, I had the CD, I had the album, the music, and it was one of my favorite shows. It was one of my favorite toys growing up to have that little stuffed animal. And now as I got older, I remember hearing from people about, the actor in the Barney suit would smoke cigarettes on set. The actor would curse out people on set, things like that were just sounded like rumors. But I've never really heard about the show creating hatred. So let's get to the bottom of this. Let's look at this article a little bit more. From Barney bashing to frat parties to homicidal video games, something in American society broke into a million pieces, and it's never been put together again. Or is this just who we are all along? I Love You, You Hate Me unpacks how a children's character who stood for inclusion, understanding, and kindness birthed a movement of anger and criticism that threatened the show, its creators, and their futures. So that last sentence is a quote from the executive producer of the series. He's talking here about how the premise of the show was all about teaching imagination and kindness to kids, which is very true. That's kind of what I experienced watching the show for myself as a kid. It was all about exploring imagination, being creative, being yourself, but also with that sort of like care for your neighbor type message. So it was very much a kumbaya kind of kid show. But what he's saying here is that out of this show, out of the kids' programming about inclusion and caring for others, there came a wave of hatred and criticism. So the quote continues here. As it spotlights the beginning of modern day hate culture, this documentary traces the creation of the character and how it took a toll on the people closest to it, examining the surprising and lingering impact the big purple dinosaur, in quotes, left on American society. It's a really interesting connection here that the show is trying to make between Barney and modern day hate culture. I'm not too familiar with what went on behind the scenes of, and you know, the difficulties of making the show that are obviously going to be highlighted in this series, but I think it's kind of a stretch to say that shows like Barney led to the anger and the criticism that we see in person and online today, right? In my mind, I could probably come up with about 24 reasons why we have rage culture in America. And watching Barney as a kid isn't one of them. So we're going to wrap things up here with this last part from this article. The documentary also debunks and charts the origins of rumors about Barney having drugs in his tail or there being more sinister intentions for the beloved series. I never heard theories about there being drugs in Barney's tail before. So now I'm really interested. I want to see more about that. Am I going to watch this series? Are you going to watch this series? Probably not. Okay, because it's premiering on Peacock, which I don't plan on subscribing to anytime soon. I personally don't know anyone who actually subscribes to Peacock. But, you know, if you do have access to it, let me know how it goes, okay? Because it sounds like a good time. Thanks for hanging out at Harry's. If you enjoyed this video, go check out this other video that I made. It's a little bit more serious than talking about Barney, but I think you can get some valuable insight from it. I'll see y'all later.